Before we head into Old City Park, I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite places to get bagels here in Dallas, Texas. It's called Abby's Bagels. I really like these bagels. The bagels are really soft and the flavor, it's amazing. I got the pastrami bagel this time, which is one of my favorites. Really recommend it to you guys. We finally got to Old City Park. This is one of the oldest parks here in Dallas, Texas. This place was created in 1876 to bring some of the old buildings that wanted to be preserved by the city of Dallas to be restored here. This place is the home from houses from 1840 through 1910. There's a lot of Victorian homes and pioneer houses from back in the day. Right in front of the place, there's a popcorn stand. This is what you will find in the 1800s. They will sell you cotton candy, soft drinks, and popcorn here. And look how beautiful it looks. It's been well preserved over the years. This is something that you would find in the city of Dallas, and you wanted to buy something to snack on. Something I noticed is that they actually sell popcorn here sometimes. It just closed at the moment. We are inside one of the oldest store here in Dallas. This place was so important for the economic growth of the city. A lot of people will come here and get stuff with credit, and they will actually come and talk about what was going on in the US and in the city of Dallas at the time. This place was filled with different products from the time. Here we have some of the examples of the stuff they will actually sell. Right next to me, there is some Coca-Cola bottles. These are just brand new Coca-Cola bottles, but actually Coca-Cola was invented in 1886. So right after that year, they were probably selling Coca-Cola in these places. This was one of the first saloons here in Dallas, Texas. This is actually what you would find the ladies of the night back in the day. Miners, cowboys, and travelers, they would actually come and have a drink here. Let's go check out the inside. Inside this place, they have a grizzly bear, and they brought it from Canada. Look how huge it is. If you think you have a chance with the bear, well, you really don't. This is the first time I've been in a place like this. I've only seen them in movies. So this is the bar, and this is where you will actually come and ask for a drink back in the day. And also, just like in the movies, they have this piano where they will actually be playing music. You have to remember, maybe back in the day, radios were not that common, or they were not in existence. So just like in the movie, somebody would be playing the piano and created an ambience where you could drink and listen to some music. There's a table here where you could also come and play checkers. So they'll have card games, checkers, a lot of games that you could gamble. Checkers, it's one of those games that have been around for a long time. I think checkers has been around since Egyptian times. This water fountain you see right behind me was given to them by the city of Dallas. This was commemorating a 100-year service of them providing water to the city of Dallas. Right behind me is one of the oldest church here in Dallas. It's called the Pilot Grove Church. This church was actually open until 1957, and then it was brought here to the Old City Park. We are inside the church, and I can say this place can receive maybe about 200 people at the time. I'm assuming there wasn't a lot of people living here in Texas and Dallas at the time. So 200 would be a pretty good number. Inside the church, they have these two beautiful pianos. One of them is from Vos and Sons, bought from Boston. We found this little place here, and this is actually how people back then would actually bury their relatives. This is actually how they'll actually bury the relatives right next to their homes. Look how old these tombstones are. They're actually from the 1800s. These were actually from people that didn't have a lot of money back in the day. Right next to me, we have a log house. This was a house that was built in 1856. You can see that it has this passage here. This is called a dog passage. This was actually created for people to come here and take shelter from the bad weather at the time. So this place was actually very ventilated because of this middle passage that you see here. People visiting could come and eat and take shelter here. This is something you would find in a lot of homes back in the day. It was the growing of their own vegetables. This is one of my favorite places here in this place, and it's the blacksmith house. My grandpa was a blacksmith in El Salvador, so this brings me a lot of memories. I would actually help my grandpa back in the day with the furnace to get the steel ready to be hammered and molded. So this here brings me a lot of memories. There's actually all carbon that you would put in the furnace in there to heat up the steel. It's amazing how you can heat up steel and then you can transform it into whatever you like. This tool you see here is something that we used back in the day to sharpen knives. And I think this is something that people are still using nowadays. This little section here behind me reminds me of Shrek. It reminds me of the restroom that Shrek uses in the movie. Right behind me is one of the most famous mansions here at Old City Park, and is the Millermore Mansion. This place is rumored to be one of the most haunted places here in Texas. A lot of the people that have come here has seen a lady wearing clothes from the time standing by the windows here at the mansion. If you get inside the house, you hear footsteps. And as you go in some of the different rooms, the temperature of the house changes. These are chairs that people would use back in the day to come and hang out outside. There wasn't a lot of things to do back in the day. So a lot of the pastime at the time would just come sit outside and possibly see some of the people passing by on these rocking chairs. People have seen a lady wearing a white gown through these windows you see here. Late night. This is the back of the house, and I could tell you guys that as I got close to this house, there's like a creepy feeling that I can explain to you guys. I can tell that things happen here. You can see a little more of the house here. Seems like the windows are in better shape here through the back. I have no idea what this could be here. I'm thinking it could be a well. Can you guys let me know in the comments what this is? This is something creepy about this house, is that the restroom is outside the house. This was quite common back in the day. But can you imagine how scary it would be using the restroom outside when your house is? Look how far away the house is. So this would be pitch black nighttime, and you'll have to use the restroom with a little lantern back in the day. Right behind the Millermore mansion is this huge barn. Look how huge this barn is, and it seems like it's falling apart already. I'm not really sure whether this belonged to the Millermore back in the day, but it seems pretty old. There's a little space here where you can see the inside of the barn. It looks like it's falling apart already. Well, there's actually some pretty cool things inside. Guess what this building was back in the day? Well, it turns out that this building right behind me is the playhouse for the daughter. So this here belonged to the daughter. This was actually her playhouse. But what I was reading is that she wanted the house to resemble their log house. To me, it looks pretty creepy. This was kind of a creepy place to play back in the day. This log house you see here also belonged to the Millermores. And as you can see, it's similar to the playhouse that belongs to the daughter. So it's a little mini sized log house that was built for her daughter as well. A crazy fact about back in the day is how much culture has changed over time. The dad taught their daughters how to dance, and it was very frowned upon the people of Dallas. So this wasn't a good thing back in the day, which is just, it's pretty crazy how much times have changed and how much culture has changed. People were upset and it was frowned upon for the dad to teach their daughters how to dance. We are inside one of the most famous railroads here in Dallas, Texas at the time. This is where people would come and travel through the train back in the day. Here we have a board where you will see the schedules of people arriving and departing at the time. This furnace you see here is something that would keep the inside of this building warm during the winter time. This here is where you actually come and buy your tickets to travel. So let's look at the inside of the office. And inside here, they also have a furnace where this is actually, I don't think that's a furnace, but this is something where you could cook maybe or keep the place warm. There's another little section here. I'm not really sure what this section here is for. I could Probably think that maybe they'll open this and this is the outside for you to catch the train. There's also a little creepy area here. And this is how the outside of the rail station will look like. So you will go up here to catch your train that would be coming through here. There is a lot of buildings that are closed. I see about 4 buildings that have been shut down where people don't no longer have access to. This could be maybe because the buildings could potentially be falling apart. It might not be safe for you to go in there anymore. This is a doctor's office that used to be in Oak Cliff in the 1800s. This is where you will come to get your teeth checked back in the day. This place you're seeing here is very far away from the entrance. I decided to come here because in this garden here, they have this beautiful fountain. And it seems like it has been damaged from one side. It's from 1907 and it was given to the National Humane Alliance. Like I was telling you guys, a lot of the homes here are just falling apart. So it might seem that they're not getting a lot of money to preserve these houses anymore. Some of the houses have been shut down. And look at these 2 homes here. They're already just falling apart. It's not safe for people to go inside the homes anymore. Right next to it, there's the Highway 30. It's very beautiful to come here. You may be trying to have a picnic or spend time with your family. It's a great place to come. There's another playhouse here, and it's much prettier than the Miller's playhouse. It has the pastel colors from the time. It's a lot nicer than the one the Millers built for their daughter. This is one of the last buildings we're gonna check out for today here at Old City Park, and this is the Renner School. This place was built 100 years ago. This would be a class for maybe 40 kids. You could fit 40 kids in here. There wasn't a lot of people here in Dallas back in the day. I was reading on one of the information pamphlets here that there were about 900 people here in Dallas. So that's pretty crazy. That was only a little bit of people. And for what it looks like, this is a very nice classroom. Right in the center, they have this furnace. This would actually keep them warm. Almost all the old places, the nice places had a furnace like that would keep you warm. Right in front of the classroom, you have a picture of George Washington and also a piano. I feel like back in the day, probably they would teach you by playing music as well. Okay, kids, who was the first president of the United States of America? Miss, right over here, right over here. It was Kanye West. So actually, back in the day, there was a teepee here, and I was excited to see that, but they no longer have it. We are inside one of the oldest banks here in Dallas, and you can tell how much banks have changed over the years. And look how small actually a bank was compared to the banks nowadays. But like I mentioned earlier in the video, there were only about 900 people living in Dallas, and very few people would actually be coming to places like this. We finally got to the end of the video. If I get 10,000 likes on this video, I'm coming here nighttime to the Millermore's mansion to check out the place nighttime. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. I'm going to be making more videos like this for you guys where I'm going to be going to different places. Thank you.